Okay, we're going to look at the pre-Neolithic site of Magura Cave. This site is in Bulgaria, up in the edge of the mountains here. And there are many depictions, and it seems to span the time from pre-Neolithic all the way into the Bronze Age. There's a few things I want you to see out of this, one of which, of course, is this effigy here. You can take a look at this. It's a woman with her arms stretched up in a pose very much like a ballerina, if you will, right? Something that's common with all these Neolithic sites, and I'll show you something shortly that puts it all together. Now, it's deep down in these cave networks that they've now set up tours that you can go into, but you can't get anywhere near the artwork anymore because it can get destroyed. But you look at some of these pictures here, and it'll show you things like sexual union type pictures. Here's a woman in a dress, kind of marked out a little bit. Another woman standing here in a dress, and there's a woman here right off the edge with her arms up like, like we were seeing. They already have bows and arrows. There's an ostrich. All the way up in this land is an ostrich. Here's something that's very reminiscent of a camel, perhaps, or these are all more ostriches, right? You can also see some etching of almost some letters here, but that may have been later just people messing around or leaving their mark there. But you look at these sites, and they even have an ancient calendar there, what they believe to be an ancient calendar, because it shows the sun going down in a certain area between certain mountains. And indeed, if you came out and looked out these caves, that would be the summer solstice, and that would be the winter solstice. And you look at a lot of these effigies, and again, here's this ballerina. Here's the ballerina, as you want to call it, ballerina. All over these ancient depictions that they have here. You can see them like crazy. And indeed, there are quite a few native, ancient Egyptian statuaries like this that show this exact same symbolism, except for this is from pre-dynastic Egypt and the Naqada period, which dates to 3500 BC or elder or farther. You can see this repeated over and over again. Seems the top half is dipped into a red ochre, that symbolic color, but the bottom half is left extremely pale. Of course, women went shirtless back then, so you could imagine some tanning. Very bird-like in the face, almost angelic pose. And indeed, you can see these poses over and over again, some done better than others. You can see here on the side a woman arching up. This one's become broken. Here's another one that has that same symbology. Another one. They have these, and then they'll have these flat stick figures, which looks very much like the Sumerian figures that they have at the same time. You can almost see the symbolic pubic hair they have here, even a belly button on this one, and of course the blue eyes that are always evident in a lot of the Egyptian artwork all the way through the dynasties. Like is shown here, right? And indeed, this one here too has blue eyes. You can barely make out in the picture, and here's that symbology again in the corner art shot. Even in some of these pictures that are actually what's wrapped around a jug that they show, with these symbolic ziggurat looking buildings that are here set up onto a raft, if you will, which looks like it has a million oars on it, or it's the wiggles of the water going off of it. But you can see these women in this exact same pose, and where this transposes to repeatedly over and over again into this Egyptian art. Now, that wall that we were looking at there dates back to 8 to 9,000 BC, and so it predates even pre-Egypt by a few thousand years. It might give a good indication where these people had originally come from or been related to where they spread out in early times whenever they first become farmers, finding fertile lands that are running off of rivers that can flood plains, just like in Sumeria, just like in India and the Indus Valley, and just like the Nile Valley in Egypt. Like, share, and subscribe, guys. Enjoy.